Hi guys, welcome to another episode of The Balanced Path. Me and Veera
I'm back.
are back. Veera did some episodes without me, which was very sad, but hey, we had to continue the journey of The Balanced Path. We are in Goa right now having a holiday, and we decided to do this episode just to this is something that was in our mind since a while.
Right.
And we wanted to touch this topic. We are going to talk about marriage today, why marriage, to how we decided to get married, and people ask us all the time so many
How's it
different questions.
going?
Yeah, different questions and
Life कैसी चल रही है खत्म
बड़ा
हो
मुश्किल
गई
हो गया है, खत्म हो गई ये बंदा खत्म हो गया is a common thing that everybody's friends say यार ये बंदा खत्म है. But yeah, I mean, so we're gonna start with something called what? Not something called. The first question is why marriage. So what if I ask you this question? And by the way, guys, I know questions. I've just written them down. Veera doesn't know anything, so this is totally very organic for her. So why marriage? Why did you choose marriage?
Interesting. Why did I choose marriage? I think I've said this before, which is basically that for me, marriage is, for a lot of people, it's probably it's a piece of paper or it's some form of security. For me, I knew that this is the person that I want to be with. This meaning Sid, this is the person I want to be with. And for me, it was without taking those feras or signing any documents. I feel that was marriage. It doesn't really, when in your head you're very clear on that this is the person that you want to be with, you want to work with, you want to make progress in your life with, or you want to make memories with, you want to go holidays with, you want to do endless amounts of things, and maybe at the end of the day you want to share this, how your day went by. I think that for me is marriage. It's not a piece of paper, and I think I was very clear from day one that this is the sort, you were the sort of person that I wanted to be with.
Sort of.
You were the person that I wanted to be with. Whereas you had to really figure out.
Agreed. So I think early on it's very nice how you separated marriage as an institution. Because I think marriage is supposedly where two families get together, mother and father of each bride and groom, and their rishtedar, they get together. They have to be in the okay. कि हाँ ये सही है. फिर I mean different cultures. Some cultures believe in tevas, some cultures believe in pandits. Different things have to come together.
Correct.
To actually then a date coming in. कि जी ये date निकली है, ये तारा है, वारा है, and finally that feras happening or whatever. मतलब again different cultures, different types of marriages, and then according to society you're married. But I like how you've taken these things apart, saying that is something that is just for show, maybe, or maybe tradition. Or
I mean, nothing really changes. How everybody, the first question was how do you feel after getting married?
Oh, we'll get to that question.
Yeah.
We're too early to. We're just defining marriage. So I like how you define marriage as just companionship. Person who is going to be with you, support you, to the ups and downs, and and just you're with someone.
And vice versa.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, you were very clear, that is true, and you were also true in saying that I wasn't clear. Because according to me, marriage was something that I didn't really want to get into, right? And you knew this. I don't know why, I don't know, maybe it was a troubled marriage that I saw my parents going through.
Right.
Maybe there were troubled marriages when I was a kid that were happening around me, and maybe subconsciously, I can't really pinpoint it till now, which is very surprising. Ki kyun? Somebody asked me, why did you not want to get married? I don't know, I just didn't want to get married. It was oh, maybe I was...
Or be in a relationship.
Or even be in a relationship, yeah. I had commitment issues. But I was मुझे कहीं ना कहीं था कि it is something that will kind of weigh me down in terms of I'll get constricted to a certain place or a certain type of work or so many things that...
Or have boundaries.
Have boundaries, or maybe now I'll have somebody who will constantly be like aise nahi waise nahi, and like also like there is also like a fear of responsibility, because when you're alone you're like fuck it, whatever, do whatever, kuch bhi kar rahe ho, kahin pe bhi ho. And obviously when you are with someone, you have a responsibility towards them and they have a responsibility towards you. So now you have to think not with just your own mind, but you have to think for the other person as well.
Right.
And vice versa. I'm not saying that I think for you, you think for me as well. But what I'm saying is that maybe those were the things that were in my mind which made me want to not get married.
Right.
But then obviously we met and you were clear from the very start. Obviously you didn't say, hey, I won't marry you, but like it was like evident. And then
it wasn't evident that I wanted to marry you.
It was evident that you liked me.
It was very evident that I liked you.
And I liked you as well, but I didn't want to make it evident. I don't know how that worked.
Yeah.
I was like very like, haan, achhi hai, whatever, but I will be in my own, because I don't want to get married. And obviously like I'm not a kind of person who had like 500 relationships and like I was like, okay, just have fun and like move on. I was not that kind of a person. And when it also came to you, I was like, nahi yaar, I don't want to get into something where I make her feel bad, or like if I'm confused, maybe I'll let her think something else and then something else is going on in my mind. Like I didn't want to be in that situation.
Right.
So I was like very cautious, but then at the bottom of my heart I knew कि यार मतलब ठीक है ना, मतलब लड़की अच्छी है somehow. And then it eventually, when I got to know you more, it was more like, okay, now I'm at a position where if I ever get married, I will get married to this person. But still I wasn't sure. Right? And then we finally had that holiday where we actually went, our parents don't know this, that we went alone and we didn't go with our friends.
This.
Now they know it?
Of course they
Are you crying?
No, I'm not crying. I'm like a little
teary-eyed. So that after that holiday, I was like, ठीक है, I think I want to be with this person, because that holiday was never not like I was with this person who I had to like kind of make efforts to be with.
Firstly, let me tell you, it was very hard for me. Not
Was
the
it?
holiday, but the process of reaching the holiday. Because I would just be like, okay, Sid, like I think we should go on a holiday, and he's like, no.
Yeah, because you used to come to me like we should go on a holiday, and I honestly thought this holiday was कि सब इकट्ठे होके जाएंगे, but later I found out this holiday was supposed to be just her and me. So I was a little like, yeah, मतलब this doesn't make sense. Like, how will just Veera and me go on a holiday? Like, what will we tell people? Like, are we in a relationship? You were like, obviously it will confuse them, but you were like,
but you had some.
Sid, let's go on a holiday. So I was like, no, I mean, no, how can we go on a holiday? Like, कैसे जाएंगे भैया?
But you had like a prerequisite for the holiday.
What was that?
The prerequisite was that I think you were traveling to Canada. Yeah, so the prerequisite was that you were traveling to Canada post the trip that you were supposed to take.
Yeah.
And you said, if I get my Canadian visa, I will go on a trip with you. So basically made me apply for his.
Yeah, so basically she's very good at getting visas. I don't know how, why. But that doesn't mean you contact her for, she doesn't do visa services. But I was like, okay, Veera, like this is just like मजाक चल रहा है. I was like, चल Veera, Veera, do you apply for my visa for Canada? If I get it, then we go on a holiday. Like, And yeah, I got my Canadian visa, and she was like, now we go on a holiday. I was like, oh shit, completely forgot about this prerequisite. But yeah, then we went to Iceland, which was great.
Which was amazing.
Which was somewhere I really wanted to go. Why? Can you believe it? because there was a CrossFit box that we wanted to do. Like literally we went on a holiday to Iceland, halfway around the world to exercise, to work out.
Which is a lot of fun. We met Annie. Yeah, I would do it.
We met Annie, we met her cousin. So क्या नाम था? Goodmanson.
नहीं, Goodmanson उसका cousin नहीं है.
उसका cousin नहीं. So even though if you're listening, Annie, you probably didn't understand what we're saying because you don't know what cousin is, but yeah. So that was fun. That was fun. After which I came back, like I said, like I was okay. I was ready.
I think that was also. Sorry, I'm cutting you. That was also my last. That was my last point on the checklist where I was like, okay, if I survive this holiday with this person, I think then I can actually think about like maybe spending the rest of my, not the rest of, yeah, spending the rest of my life with. Because I was like, I think on a holiday, like even with like friends, when you go on holidays, like some friends you have a blast with, and some friends like you just end up like understanding that how you're not compatible to live together. So I think when we went on a holiday, it was very
Yeah, we were very compatible.
Very
like,
as-
very like
comfortable. It was fun. We wanted to do very similar things.
we flowed together.
Yeah, we flowed together.
So I think that is how marriage happened to us, and it was very organic. It was just it had just happened. So yeah, so that's my next question that we're going to discuss is this is something that we get asked a lot. कि क्या change हुआ marriage के बाद? तो वीरा आपके लिए क्या change हुआ तो आप बताओ.
कुछ भी नहीं. Change as in life got very comfortable.
Okay.
Because now there are no
काश मैं भी ये
rules.
बोल सकता. But yeah, okay.
I feel like yeah, like it's just it's like you have, you know, when you have that landing mattress, right? In gymnastics, there's a crash mat. Like you're the crash mat.
Oh, hello.
Like you always know that when you fall, you're not going to get hurt. There's a crash mat to save you. So I feel like that's literally like what change after marriage. I don't think I feel like. Of course, there are changes when you're living with another person. Even I say this to a lot of my friends as well. Like when you live with another person, be it your spouse or be it like another human being, you're bound to adjust to each other. You're bound to basically understand, okay, this is what this person maybe in the morning doesn't like, or this is something that you just understand how to coexist. I think coexistence is something that you learn. But other than that, I think. It's been absolutely amazing after getting
But
married.
is this coexistence different from like living with a roommate? Like when you
No,
let's say
it's-
go to college abroad or like somewhere like I went to Bombay. I had roommates. I had to understand what they liked in terms of how they like to live, and then was it something different for you or was it like it was easier, difficult?
No, I think it's much more easier with a roommate. Like you still have like some guard on. Or maybe you have a roommate and you don't like them, but here you like the person, right?
That's true.
Yeah, you like the person, you made that choice to actually live with this person. It's not like you're forced into a apartment together. You made that decision. So I think it's amazing. It's also like, I feel like I say this a lot to you, which is now that I realize that now that you've gone to Bombay for a little period, like I realize that the amount of like load that I throw on you on a regular basis to just ease my life, which is basically like, like if somebody says ki acha Veera, just look into this or do this, or I'll just like say, I don't look after this department, I'll let Sid know this, and I'll just like throw that responsibility on you. So I feel like it's like shared, like you're basically sharing everything, like whether it's like space, whether it's responsibilities, whether it's like you have somebody to talk to, you can tell them how you're feeling, and there's always, like I said, like there's a constant crash mat. Like
I think I would like to put it, if you're done, in a way where like you're in a no judgment zone.
Yeah, you're in a
Like,
but I feel like you have to reach there, Siddhartha.
Agreed. You have to reach there, and like honestly, I would like to tell this to couples who just got married, maybe knew each other for like years, but certain disagreements might sprout out when you start living together, and it's not easy for everybody. But at the same time, if you give it some time, things become very easy. Because see, a different person who's lived with in a different house under different circumstances in terms of their parents, their friends, their family, their environment, they are raised in a completely different environment. Even if you're living in the same city, now suddenly you're like living together, maybe you moved houses, whatever said and done, it takes time. Give it some time. Don't be, because I'm hearing this a lot, like couples are like, as soon as they start living together, suddenly like it's like divorces happening and like crazy things happening.
Yeah.
Give it some time. marriage is something for first 6 months to an year. Just observe what's happening. Like it's a new chapter in your life. It's literally like a new beginning.
Yeah.
You know. So just let it flow, and eventually you will reach this equilibrium, this state of flow rather, where like things will just you'll just understand. Okay, great, and you'll also notice that you're not the only one who's doing so-called like compromises. The other person is also understanding you and like kind of molding their behavioral patterns according to you. And this is fun until you kind of merge into this, nice synergy of two human beings actually living together. Right. So that takes time, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I also feel like Seema says, compromise is not the right word. I feel like it's more about understand. Like there are some things that I do which are very like erratic. But like you sort of like understand that, okay, this gives me happiness, but I'm sure that there are some things that you do are very strange to me, and I'm like, okay. So I feel like you basically just understand each other's rhythm, and I think that is not compromise, that is just letting each other be and like being more accepting of who these individuals are, or who like what you like, rather than me trying to like overpower and be like, nahi aise hi hoega ya aise hi karna chahiye. But why? Like it can just, your right is not right, like my right can also be right, or my right doesn't have to always be right. So it's a very like just understand each other's rhythm, and I feel like that truly happens when you have no filters. I feel like it's very important to reach that, because I feel like we as human beings are very vulnerable. Like we are very scared of vulnerability. I say this again a lot, but like we are so scared because when we are at our lowest, we don't want to show that side to even our spouses. Like we don't want to show it to our friends, our parents, our spouse. So we always like take that big sip and like just put it inside us. So what happens ultimately later in life is that we don't even know why we're angry or what is upsetting us, but it's because like we've like constantly like muted that feeling. I feel like when there is no muting of any feelings or no swallowing of emotions, and you're as it is with your spouse, that like boundless human being that you are, that basically helps you evolve and like grow in a marriage together. Because like if I'm just going to like keep hiding things from you, I will, and ultimately also think that it's going to, you're going to judge me, or you're going to like probably like be like, Veera, how could you do this, or you're such a bad human being, or you have like these terrible, you have terrible thoughts and you're a terrible human being. If you're judging me for my weakest, then I obviously will not be comfortable in telling you how I feel. But I feel like if you're just listening all ears to my problems, and I can just completely be myself in front of you and tell you everything without any filter. Thinking twice. I feel like there is just like immense scope of growth, and like that's how like marriages are successful, because there are going to be arguments like you said, but as long as you're not judging me for the person I am or for the ideas that I have, I think it's fine. Two people can have different opinions, but those opinions are not to be judged. Like you just flow, and that's how you grow. Yeah.
So basically, communication line should always be open. You can
always,
never,
always.
Be like, okay, parda.
No parda.
Okay, next is actually handling disagreements. Like, how do we handle disagreements?
We laugh.
We laugh. How do we like genuinely handle disagreements? I think when we're disagreeing on something or we're angry with each other, I think
you don't get angry.
I don't get angry. I never get pissed off. I don't know why. I mean, I should actually.
Okay, if Sid is pissed off, like if he's angry, that means that I am at fault. Like I won't even lie.
Have I ever been angry?
Yes, like once in a like blue moon, like I've really been.
Acha, how much time duration is it that I get angry with you?
Like 1 hour.
1 hour is zyada. I can't. See, I can't be angry with you. Even if like something pisses me off now, I'll be like, बस मतलब मैं नहीं बुलाना है like after 5-10 minutes I'm like यार इन्हें गल करके देखना मैं थोड़ी.
And how long have I been angry?
Days actually. So yeah, I think when in terms of disagreements, so this is like in front of you is a clear contrast in terms of how we deal with disagreements. We don't have one way. I think Veera likes to kind of zone out and be in her own space eventually, and then just come back to like, you know, and then I as a person.
How long is that zone?
Oh, it used to be longer. It used to be weeks, and then days, and now it's.
Excuse me, what did you say? It used to be weeks.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, weeks, and then days, and now it's like maybe.
Now it's also like
one
last.
or 2 days, 2 days, 3 days.
That means I'm really upset.
That means you're really upset. True. So, like I said, your way of dealing with disagreements is that you like to
Go silent.
Go silent and be in your own space. And
Yeah.
I, as a person, initially was always trying to probe you. Kya hua, kya hua, kya hua, kya hua, and I feel that prolongs it because that's not something that you want. You want to deal with some things on your own and then maybe come back and say, okay, you know what? So I think I, as a person, now can be like, oh, she's not talking to me. ये क्या हो गया? क्यों हो गया? Maybe I tell 10 other people, but now I think I have realized that I have to give you that space.
Right.
1 day, 2 day, whatever.
Right.
And again, like vice versa.
I think I have to like when like I know that I've made a mistake, even though like I hate admitting to the fact that I've made a mistake because excuse me like.
Yeah, it's like
feminism comes in and like all like
feminism गलत टाइम से आता हमेशा मतलब कोई उसका मतलब नहीं अपने आने का कोई उसका there's no space for it but suddenly it will come like हाँ मैं मेरा पूरी woman I can't say sorry but yeah I mean like
no I think what I have learned when we disagree is that I need to like I actually like understand that okay like yeah, this is making sense, which I think has taken, of course, a while to understand that, okay, yeah, maybe this person is right. And then if this person is right, then I have to, like, trust me, it's very hard to actually keep my ego aside and say that, okay, Sid, you're right, I'm sorry. But I think that's what I've learned in how to, like, deal with the arguments and
agreed.
Yeah.
So I think moral of the story is like we try to constantly learn. It's not like oh we're the perfect couple. It is always like it's constant learning. Sometimes we fuck up. Sometimes we're like what the hell? Why did we even get married? But then that's part of it. We just try to kind of let things simmer. Eventually everything kind of works out to the better.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. We've pretty much always seen कि घूम फिर के सब ठीक हो जाता है. So you have to give it time. You have to give it time.
ये ठीक नहीं होता था. Like we realized that how childish we were.
Yeah, but and how कोई realization हो जाती है.
Yeah, but the worst is when like we're fighting and our parents are like, what happened? Like you look very upset today, and I'm like, why is everybody talking to me? Like you're still normal. I feel like I don't have any.
You have tells.
Yeah, I have faces.
You have faces. You have a. We call it the bitch face. Basically, she's upset. But yeah, I mean.
And then it's also like I don't have a boundary. I'm upset with everybody.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So if Veera is upset with XYZ, means she is going to be upset with me and her parents. People she loves the most is like her mother, her father, me, even brother. You know, कभी-कभी तो मतलब तो उनके साथ upset है. And everybody now knows. Veera किसी न किसी से नाराज है. Everybody is very like okay with it.
I'm like, oh, this is really bad.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So next thing that we get asked a lot is about working together. Goods and the bads. Come on, let's go.
Goods and the bads. The good is that it's like it just solves all your problems, which is basically like. You know, like the work, there's a lot of pressure at work, I feel. And when you have your spouse there, like that pressure can be shared, which sort of makes things better and makes you feel better that you're not in it alone. It also makes you feel like this day is going to pass by and it's going to be over, or like it's going to be solved, because अरे problem है but problem का solution मिल जाएगा, because constantly we as human beings dwell on कि problem है पर हम उसके बारे में कुछ करते नहीं, we don't do anything about it. But I feel like that the good is that you know that there's a problem, so two people can actually deal with that problem, sharing that stress and understanding what each other is feeling and working towards that problem. So yeah, share responsibility is something which is great. What is not great is disagreements, or like getting questioned in your scope of work. Like when you're trying to ask me like what was the break even for last month, how much, like, and I'm like, I know this, like, why are you questioning me? Like, you know. And that's when I feel like when somebody questions me, I don't think it's just you, I think it's just anybody who asks questions me about like work, when like you're out of work and suddenly those questions arise, then it's like okay. And even when like we're working towards like a problem and need to solve it, or we're trying to actually develop something new, there are of course opinions, and like sometimes I feel like I have a vision, and when I get like questioned on my vision, I feel like I have a real problem, and that's the annoying part of it. But I think most of it is actually good. What is hard is working together is like you need to filter out boundaries of work, which is basically when you're home. You need to understand how to switch off, which I feel like we kind of lack, but have recently been working on. But the switch off is hard. Like, how do you not constantly keep talking about developing something or working? So I feel like that starts from the time we wake up and it ends when we sleep.
When we're about to sleep.
Yeah. So I think that is the hardest part of working together. But yeah, like I think we're working to find the balance.
Nice. For me, like the good part is like what I feel works for us is like our skill sets are very different.
That's true.
You are good at certain things which I don't know ABC about, and vice versa. I'm good at certain things that you don't either like or you want to do. So it's like when there's that division of labor happens, like things kind of you are doing what you like, right? Creative part, the interiors part, even the accounting part, and I'm doing what I like.
Right.
The construction part or like the getting the team together, whatever.
Project.
So I think that
Project manager Sid.
PM Sid. Contact me. So that kind of works well. Again, I would agree with the fact that what does not work is that we're constantly together. We're constantly together. In the morning, from going to the gym and into the office, working, we're together but not together. Right? At the end of the day, when you sit down, even though you've been in each other's face the whole day, it doesn't feel like you were together because you didn't like sit down and like
and talk about how life is.
Casual conversation about work. You were just doing your job.
Right.
So that is something we struggle with, and again, like I said, on the dinner table, sometimes we start talking about work, then we suddenly realize, she realizes or I realize like काम के बारे में बात नहीं करनी. So that is something where again, like I said, nothing is perfect. Still trying to figure things out. So this is something that at least, so I think to figure something out, to find a solution, you first need to admit there is a problem.
Correct.
So we have admitted the fact that this is something that we need to work on, and now the work shall begin because the admittance has happened.
Agreed.
So that is something, and also like in terms of like the grey area, we talk about this a lot. The grey area is where, let's say you're in a room with your spouse, but she's on her laptop or her phone doing her work and I'm doing the same. So technically you would feel you're together, but you're not together. You're in a grey area where even though you're so close to each other, you're actually drifting apart in terms of like, you're not talking about the what do you call it? The the nicer things in life, about life at large. You're just like
You're
constantly.
coexisting.
You're just coexisting. So that's a very dangerous space to be in.
Physically coexisting, not
Physically
emotionally.
So that kind of is not a good space to be in. So like we try to kind of like she tries not to be in the office when I'm there and vice versa. And I think that kind of works well because then it's exciting when you sit down for lunch and like, talking अच्छा क्या कर रही थी क्या. So that those are little things we're experimenting still, but hopefully you'll find a consensus.
No, I think it was very cool because like this time when we met in the cab, we went on for when we landed Goa and we had to come to a hotel, none of us could actually stop talking because we were so excited to tell each other like
what's happening,
how life is.
Agreed.
So yeah.
Okay, next up is mutual respect. Like, what do you think about respecting the other person? Like how is respect important in a relationship for you?
मेरे पति परमेश्वर हैं.
जीती रहो. यार इधर.
Respect means respect is a very heavy word firstly, but I feel like understanding certain I don't want to say beliefs, ideologies, but I feel like you feel a certain way and maybe I don't feel that way. Maybe I'm not in at the same bandwidth.
Okay.
But just me understanding that this is what you believe in or this is how you're feeling and not trying to be egoistic about that feeling or trying to be like nahi Sid aise nahi hoega. So just respecting or being okay with how you feel is respect.
The other person's views.
The other person's views, the other person's just letting the other person be. If I just keep telling you कि Sid ऐसे नहीं होएगा, ऐसे ही होएगा, or I'll tell you कि what are you wearing, yeah? Why are you wearing this? I don't like it. I don't like how you look, or I don't like how you're doing your work. As long as you're doing what you need to do in your segment of work or how you're being, that is respect for me. It's not कि मैं रोज उठ के आपकी आरती उतारूंगी और I'll just be like, or be like, oh, I respect my husband and he is the ultimate, he's I've kept you. That's not what it is. It is basically letting you be who you are, what you stand for, what you like, what you see yourself as, how you want to progress, what your goals are, how you feel. That is respect. Respecting your existence is respect for me. That's how I think respecting that's what respecting a spouse is. I don't know if it makes sense, but
it does. I think I share the views in terms of respecting you as a person as to who you are, what your views are, and basically just respecting the fact that you have your own views or decisions or emotions rather. Maybe we see the same thing and I'm like, I feel no emotion and you are overwhelmed with emotion. I have to respect that outcome that your mind and body is giving to you. I can't be like, let's say we're watching a movie.
And I'm crying watching a movie.
Yeah, and I can't be like, पागल है यार तू मतलब आज करिए नहीं है ना रोई के जाने
being empathetic.
It's fine. I mean, I have to respect that.
Yeah.
Then I have to respect you in the workspace.
Right.
When you're in the workspace, there are people working around. If I don't give you respect, and let's say you don't give me respect, that is how our co-workers will look at us. They'll they will get a, and it's like respecting your co-workers as well. You can't be like, oye. It's again, maha respect hai. And then the third kind of respect would be respect for you in public. If we're going out somewhere, I can't be maybe we have a certain way of talking when we're in let's say a closed environment where I'm teasing you or teasing me, but I have to be mindful of how and what I should say to you in front of my friends and your friends, as to not make you feel
lesser of
के यार मतलब ऐसे कैसे, right? Maybe there are certain secrets or certain things that we keep. I can't just be like this one oh. So that is something that I feel a lot of couples struggle, and they don't do it intentionally. It's like you and me are talking alone and we're discussing something, making fun of something. We continue at the 10 बंदों के सामने.
Yeah.
I don't think that's nice.
Yeah.
In terms of maybe the other person is not even telling you, but they are feeling it.
Yeah.
And you should be more mindful. So I think overly respect is really.
Absolutely. Like I feel like sometimes like like in my flow I've just been like, oh Sid, this is like whatever. But I realized that okay, maybe I shouldn't have said it because you have felt bad in that situation, or maybe I could have made you feel bad. So I feel like like you need to have a filter in public. You can't just be like what like.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't say that. Like,
and also like if you have a disagreement in public, take it somewhere else. I mean,
yeah, you don't need to have a disagreement in public.
Even if you do, like just keep quiet, go on the side. You can't be like shouting at each other, like making public scene.
Oh yeah, like we've gone out fighting from home, but it's not that we're creating a scene.
Yes, like I mean
around, because it's not about like how you're feeling. I am all about like you're not feeling okay. Like if you don't want to talk to the person, don't talk to the person. It's okay. You don't have to act or like, oh I love this person and I want to be I can't live without you. You don't have to do that. You can just be in another corner and your spouse can be in another corner. But like just don't make a scene for your friends, because that is awkward.
Yeah,
like
they
don't deserve your
they
fight.
They're
out to have a good.
Suddenly there are these two ISOs like having their own disagreement or like halla gulla, like then I mean सारा टेंशन आप पे आता है, उनका टाइम भी खराब हो रहा है, तुम्हें भी वो कंसोल करने की कोशिश कर रहा है. I think that is not something that you should be better than that.
Yeah.
Again, mutual respect in public, in the workspace, and obviously when you can't be like putting up this image when you're going out and then when you're alone, like you're abusing each other. That is also not. You should be like how you are everywhere, but at the same time that respect comes from within, not from actions, not from words, but rather from the heart.
Yeah.
Okay. So next was like I think we've covered this, admitting when you are wrong. I think that is something that is very important. It takes courage. You're laughing, but if you're wrong, just like say I was wrong.
And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's fine, right? Because shit happens. I mean,
you're human. You're bound to make mistakes. I feel like ego usually comes in the middle of like saying I'm sorry, but it's okay. It's not going to make you any smaller.
No, I think it's just going to make you grow.
It's going to make you grow. It's also going to make your spouse feel a little better. Like if you basically messed up, it's not going to. You say sorry to like random people on this. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I feel like just to somebody who genuinely hurt. I feel like there is nothing but just say sorry and move on.
I think even if whether your spouse or somebody else, I think saying sorry just like kind of makes you more empathetic as a person, and like I said, makes you grow. If the idea to move on in life is becoming more aware of what you think and what you do in terms of emotions, physicality, and I think when you need to kind of figure out, okay, this is something that I've done which is not right, and it's totally fine to say, hey, I'm sorry.
Right.
It's very important as well.
Agreed.
Okay, next up is holidays. What are your views on holidays?
Remember like a few minutes before this, we mentioned that the first holiday that we took was just very free-flowing. Why was it free-flowing? Is because we did all the things that both of us like doing, which was basically like waking up in the morning early,
working out,
eating well, drinking coffee, going like on hikes, walking around, discovering places, things that we don't genuinely like, and it's nothing to do with the lifestyle that we lead, or maybe it is, but we genuinely don't like going to parties. It's a nightmare for us. Like anybody calls us, apart from like a few friends that we like going out for once in a while, but yeah, we don't enjoy the feeling of like drinking alcohol, going to bed with that head spinning situation, waking up with a hangover. Like we like to wake up early, we like to like take a dip in the pool, we like other things in life, and that does not make our life sad. That's how we like living our holidays or doing our holidays. So yeah, I think it's wonderful, because imagine that there was a person who did not like doing things like this with me on holiday or with you on holiday. It would be a nightmare. Imagine you want to wake up at like 6 in the morning and this other person wants to wake up at like 12 in the morning. Like 6 घंटे क्या करोगे? I mean, of course you can do a lot of things, but it's just वो भी ठीक है, but it's just fun when you can do it together. Yeah.
I think like, without taking anything away from anybody, like I have been that person who loved to party. जब तक सिर ना घूमना, शराब पीनी, ना, party पे भी जाना, ये पूछना, like I have been that person, and I'm sure you have as well. And we've done it to the T. Okay?
True.
And I think now we've just gone beyond it. So like I said, nothing against anybody. The young people who like to party, please go ahead, party to your, to your fill. It's just like we have kind of, I won't even say like we just enjoy this pattern. That's
like really like it. Like I think like people like waking up late. They like think
yeah, because holiday कई majority of people holiday even our parents are like तो दिमाग खराब है सुबह उठ के gym जा रहे हैं holiday दे रहे हैं holiday मतलब उनका.
No, my parents are very okay with this fact now.
They are okay मतलब उन्होंने केड़ा कहना कि तुसी क्यों, पर मैं कह रहा हूँ मतलब usually they are like आराम से उठो chill करो एक दी बेर दी जब ले आप खाया वाली फिर सोंगे. And again that is also a type of holiday that you can take. It's just like what we are trying to say is that we're not saying that do this on a holiday. What we're trying to say is that we like similar things when we go on a holiday, which just makes holidays better.
Fun, a lot of fun.
Like my idea of a holiday is skiing, where like when you've skied the whole day, your legs are hurting, you're tired, you want to sleep. That's my idea.
You need protein.
You want to have protein, and she loves that as well. And that is what I'm trying to say. You have to find a person who loves the same kind of madness, like like you do. So for holidays, yeah, definitely. In terms of holidays, whether they're important or not, they're very important.
Even when you go with friends, like you have to go with friends who like similar things. Now you take friends who hate skiing.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun, right? So like you go on different kinds of holidays with them, or you don't go on holidays with them. So yeah, I think it just makes fun when like when people take golf holidays, all golfers go on holidays. So very similar to that. Like it's like basically morning people going on a holiday.
Agreed. Yeah. And I think holidays are very important. They give you a different perspective, because if you're like constantly working in a similar environment, you will start to basically draw a line around your work and your life कि भैया यही है, यहीं पे जीना है, यहीं पे मरना है. As soon as you step out, and that is sometimes very difficult. Like for Veera, it's just difficult to. She plan a holiday?
No, I'll not plan a holiday.
You like जाना है, कब जाना है, क्या जाना है, but when she steps out of that zone, she is so much more relaxed in terms of she can think better, she is more creative, she is more innovative, and similar things with me as well. Whenever I have taken a holiday out of my usual routine, I have always come back with better ideas, different perspectives, and a more relaxed mind. So I think in that terms, the holiday is very, very important.
Right.
Okay, financial aspirations and financial decisions. This is something like a lot of couples kind of deal with. Obviously, when you're together, then finances come together. Is only one person earning, or are both of you earning? If both of you are earning, are you contributing half? Are you contributing like 90-10 or 60-40? How should this be? Like, okay. So I think what we do is like both of us work, both of us earn, and I think both of us pretty much contribute equally to everything, whether it is our lifestyle in terms of living, whether it is going out. It is never like, oh, I'm the man, I will only, pay. It's never like that. I actually, we kind of, what do you call it? I like it when she pays. Which she's going to buy me lunch now. But yeah, I think it should be like a mutual thing. But even before that, I think your financial aspirations should be similar. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say I am a person who is satisfied with a very simple lifestyle, and I'm also working and earning that kind of, maybe a salary or from my business, and enters Veera, who, let's say, needs a LV bag every week or every month. So there's going to be a disconnect here. Okay, she's going to eventually.
There is nothing wrong with having that LV bag.
Nothing wrong. Like I said, different aspirations. Now what can happen is either she can work, earn and get that LV bag for herself, which is great. Or I mean, it's if I'm going to be that person कि भैया नहीं भाई ये तो चीजें are luxury goods and like you're wasting money, and she's like no but I need this, then you're constantly going to be in disagreement, you're going to be miserable. So make sure when you want to get married, or you're kind of starting to get married, or like when you're thinking of getting married, you actually sit down and like kind of just talk these things out. And if one person is such that who loves LV bags and the other person is maybe can't afford them, talk these things out. Like how is it going to be? Like, is the person who can't afford it going to work very hard and eventually be able to afford that LV bag? Or is the other person going to be a person who doesn't want LV bags anymore? So this is a conversation which is very open-ended. It is something that can only be solved when you sit down and kind of talk about it.
I think it's not even about, like you absolutely put it right, but I feel like the bag sounds very like a bigger, like very big. I'll talk about something very small.
Okay.
Like which is basically like if you like going out on weekends for dinner, I'm not even saying like dinner, or like just like you like going out to eat and like to socialize. Like you still need to have a certain income to support that if you want to like shop. And I'm saying that things are very expensive now. Like shop like basic things, you want to like basic like fuel bharana hai, groceries लेनी है, खाना है, like if you want to eat protein only, like like very basic things. I feel like it's very important to yes, have that conversation and understand that this is like, because I feel like it's not possible, or like I mean it is possible, either like you're like doing really really well for yourself, which is great, like good for everyone who is doing that, but I feel like for most normal people, I feel like just one person, one partner working gets a little too hard on the pocket. So I feel like it is very important, like if you have certain aspirations and you like certain things and you're fond of a certain lifestyle, then it's very important to work towards that lifestyle. Like it's not fair on the other person to actually have those aspirations that I want this, or I want to go out here, or I want to go for this holiday, so you must work hard, because it's a lot of pressure. Things are very expensive. There's a lot of competition as well. Like people don't realize this, but because of Instagram, like you always constantly see कि ये यहाँ जा रहे हैं तो हम क्यों नहीं जा रहे. So I feel like when you have such aspirations, or you feel like that, then you need to do something about it. It's like basically sitting and being like, why don't I have this? But what are you doing towards it?
So yeah,
you need to like do. It's not fair if I'm just sitting here and I'm like, Siddhartha, like I want to come to Goa for a holiday, and I'm sitting and doing nothing at home. I'm just like probably, So I feel like either like great if your partner is doing so well, then you don't need to work at all.
Like,
I mean,
if
working.
you're working like that and I don't have to do anything, what else would I?
Yeah, like I mean, again, it's a choice. I mean, working is also a choice. It's not that it should be looked down upon कि भाई तुम काम क्यों नहीं कर रहे. But like if your partner is somebody who's like initially making it, or like is at the beginning of their career, like you can't put such pressures, because I feel like that leads to disagreements, that leads to a lot of pressure, and why should anybody go through? So I feel like this is something that you should understand before you get into a relationship or marriage, that this is the person, this is the stage of their career that they are at, and it is not going to be like a overnight turn in their financial increase of income. It's going to take some while. You should be clear of that. एकदम से शादी करके you can't be like कि मुझे अब ये चाहिए, that's not fair. So basically be aware of how things are, and then just understand that this is what you signed up for, or you guys are going to work towards a dream together, and then build on.
So I think moral of the story is that sit down and define goals together, and then work towards them.
Absolutely.
Work towards them. Maybe you're in a situation where only one partner can work, but the other person can support the person who's working. That is also working together.
Absolutely.
Work together towards your goals. Define them. Goals. What am I saying? Goals. I'm not drunk, guys, even though this is Goa. But yeah, goals should be defined and then worked on together.
Right.
Okay? So yeah. And then when it comes to financial decisions, I think it's the same process. You sit down. You can't be like, hey Veera, today I bought a new car. So you're like, what the fuck? Why did you buy a new car? We didn't know, but I really liked it. Don't be that person. Sit down. Literally, if you can, write down like things that are absolutely needed in the coming days and months, and then things that are optional, and see where you are in terms of your finances, and then
make that decision.
Definitely keep money to splurge. It's fine, but majority of it should be like towards your well-being of people around you, your parents, your but
yeah, just for yourself, and like
Veera gonna buy me lunch today, so yeah, we're gonna splurge. Okay. Last question, Veera, is about sexual views.
I have sexual views. I also have views on children that you've not spoken about.
Okay, let's talk about sex first, and then talk about children, because
sex leads to children.
You can't have children without sex unless you adopt, which is great. You should adopt. So yeah, sex. So what I have seen, my views. Look at me how excited I am. Sex, especially when you're not married yet and it's an initial relationship, people tend to have this like heightened sexual drive towards you. It's like you want to have sex everywhere, every time, all the time, 5 times, 10 times. It's like crazy. And obviously, like with time, these frequencies of having sex decrease, and then you get married. Now you're living together. Now sex becomes like, it's not, again, maybe it's once a week, maybe it's once in 2 weeks, whatever your frequency is. But sometimes this kind of takes a toll on your partner or you. You start to think, am I not attractive enough? Why is this happening? Why are we not having sex? So I think sex is something that
I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah, obviously, like she didn't know the question, but yeah. So sex is something that is important, but at the same time, it's like your financial views and goals. You should have not sexual goals, but you should understand your partner's appetite, need and appetite for sex, and be on the same page. You can't be that person who is.
My parents are going to watch this.
Yeah, so we're married. Come on, do they think we don't have sex?
I mean, that's how like people are asking us how to have children.
Yeah, they're practically, if your parents are asking you to have children, they're practically asking you
to have sex.
Like, yeah, indirectly they're saying, beta,
I'm very.
Go have sex now. So
I think I have very strong views on sexual health. Not sexual health, but like just on like the sex life of like couples or like people. I feel like initially, like yes, the attraction levels are very, very high. It's just exciting. It's very, very exciting. It's like something that it's a unknown territory, and usually like people get into very unfortunately people get into relationships. The first move is actually sexual, and then they get into I love this person. So sometimes there's a very fine line between sexual attraction and actually emotional attraction, and it's very important to actually differentiate between the two, because I feel like a lot of people that are married or are in relationships, not married, maybe married of course, ho sakta hai, but are in relationships, are sexually attracted to each other and not emotionally attracted to each other. So a lot of times like you see couples that they're irritated only constantly with each other. They're like, why are you sitting like this? Why can't you sit like this? Why are you eating like this? Like things are irritating, you know. But
so
then
you think that is because of
like I feel like if you're like constantly irritated with a person and you're constantly trying to change them, then there is some problem. Like, and that needs to be addressed. If you're not comfortable with who your partner really is, then why are you with them? Like, why are you with them? Why are you actually putting yourselves through the pressure and that whole... Because relationships are hard, they're not easy. And imagine you have to spend the rest of your life, it sounds very scary, but the rest of your life with one person who you're supposed to really truly love and really truly understand. I feel like love also after a point is like, you know how you feel with love, your sexual tension, attraction, everything comes down.
Yeah.
Like everything ultimately reaches equilibrium.
I think the only thing that remains is that emotional connection.
Everything, even like emotional connection, love is also emotional connection as well. So everything becomes equilibrium. And when equilibrium happens, people actually get scared. People are like, before the wedding or before like a few years before this, before we got so comfortable with each other, there was so much attraction and I was constantly feeling the urge to, you know, have sex with this person, or I was constantly feeling the love for this person, like immense love, immense emotion. And that emotion could be anything but immense of everything. After a point, of course, you reach that state of equilibrium where you're going to be like, okay, like I truly really like you and I'm invested in you, but I don't feel that excitement anymore. And that's what leads to like, obviously like people cheating on other people, because that gives them thrill then. There is excitement there is attraction there is
that same sense of where they were.
Yeah, that sense of attraction, that sense of sexual pleasure, that sense of like sexual excitement, it is all there when you're outside of your marriage. And that's why people run towards it, because अभी यहाँ से equilibrium पहुँच गए, I really emotionally like this person, I love him, but I'm not having fun with him. So I think that space is very scary for people. So, I mean, maybe marriage is for you, maybe marriage is not for you. If you're somebody who likes to constantly feel that thrill and constantly likes to feel that excitement and is scared of that equilibrium, I feel like that is scary for people. So,
yeah,
equilibrium होएगा, आएगा, सबके लिए आएगा, आता है, and it comes.
It's normal.
It's normal. It's not a big deal. You're going to feel like that. What happens after you reach that equilibrium? You're going to say that you're not earning enough, or you're not sitting properly. Why are you sitting like this? Why are you eating potatoes? Why are you wearing these clothes? Of course, then everything is going to irritate you about this other person, and you're not going to understand. क्योंकि initially तो कुछ attraction था ना, अब वो attraction पर्दा था, अब वो attraction भी खत्म हो गया, अब वो सब खत्म हो गया ना, अब attraction खत्म हो गया, अब normal हो गया person, you know. तो that's exactly when people are like कि उसकी life खत्म हो गई, शादी कैसी चल रही है, मतलब boring हो गई, बकवास हो गई, वाइफ बहुत अच्छी होती थी अब बहुत खराब हो गई, या हस्बैंड बहुत अच्छा था अब बिल्कुल नहीं अच्छा. You know what I mean? So that's when like people start actually once they start feeling the equilibrium, that's when like other emotions come in, anger, financial stability, I want to buy this,
fill that void
with something. and that is a space to understand and
उस स्पेस पे जाना ही नहीं है, उससे पहले ही कोशिश करनी है इसको काउंटर करने की, right?
like you understand that ठीक है, this is normal, like
Yeah, this is normal, right?
this is normal.
So couple of tips to just make sure that your sexual life is going as planned is like, you need to be working out. Obviously if you stay in shape, it is attractive.
Not overworking out.
Not overworking out, otherwise you'll be like
no energy.
So yeah, like keeping fit, eating right. Okay, if you're not having
hydrating,
if you're not having the amount of food that your body is supposed to have in terms of your weight, your age, your activity levels, you will always feel low, which basically means you'll also be producing lesser testosterone when you're eating too low, and that will just kill your sexual urge basically. So working out, which basically means we tell this to a lot of people, 45 minutes of just moving, whatever you like to do. Proper nutrition and sleep. If you're following nutrition, if you're exercising and not sleeping enough, you will never recover and you'll always be like in that down graph. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep, exercise, eat good food, and yeah, I mean sexual health is a part of health. So you'll basically end up enhancing everything.
and keep your work.
Yeah, keep your work
in
at
office
bay and
don't bring it at home.
Yeah, agreed. Okay guys, final, did you children, बच्चे न्याणियां का की करना
That's
So I think society first tells you when you're like say 25, 26, okay, abhi it is time to get married. ठीक है, that is number one. Well,
नहीं, पहले सोसाइटी कहती है कि लड़कों से बात, पहले हमारे टाइम पे, अभी ऐसे नहीं कहते, तो ऐसे इतने वो क्वेश्चंस मत डालना, but there was a time where initially, still there's a time, we live in India, there are schools, convent schools, all girls, all boys schools, where initially like talking to the opposite sex is a taboo.
okay.
ठीक है, everybody is like नहीं बात करनी, then suddenly आप कॉलेज में जाते हो या जहाँ कहीं भी suddenly जाते हो, suddenly आपको 25 साल की उम्र में बोलते हैं कि अब शादी करनी है. अच्छा ठीक है, पहले तो कभी की नहीं बात, अब suddenly एक लड़के के साथ शादी करनी है या जो भी आपकी प्रेफरेंस है. फिर उसके बाद शादी के बाद आपको 1 साल हो गया, 2 साल हो गया, बच्चे करने. Now first sex is such a big taboo, okay, then you put this person in front of an opposite sex and then you're just like, now opposite like male or female whatever, and then you tell them कि now have sex very openly. मतलब ये क्या confusion है, क्यों, like how is it okay first for your parents to say that sex is very bad, then have sex because it's time for you to take your bunch forward. हाँ, तो ये explain करो आप मुझे.
देखो ऐसा है कि what my solution, rather my take on this would be like, society has been like this since 1,000 years. 1,000 years down the line it's going to be the same. There are going to be certain things that are right according to society. So you can be that person who is constantly trying to change society. ये क्यों है, कैसे हो रहा है, हमारे साथ बुरा हो रहा है, or you can just be that person who says, you know what, I will just do things
that I want to
do when I want to do. Like we got married at 29, 30, whatever. According to society, it's late. We don't care. We found each other.
You were older.
We are 30, 31, 32. How long have you been married?
3 years. We finished 3 years.
So yesterday was my birthday. I turned 35. So I was 32. 32. So big. 32 abhi shaadi nahi hui. So that happened. Hey, we're still here, having the time of our lives. Great. Now अगला जो pressure है वो है बच्चे का. कि बेबी कब होगा, बेबी खुशखबरी. यार हम वैसे ही बड़े खुश हैं. जब हमें जो करना होगा, ये decision हम दोनों का है. We will think about it and it will happen when we want it to happen. So be like this. Don't get into those pressures of life के यार अच्छा होगा, वो सोसाइटी ये कह रही है. सोसाइटी ने यही कहना, जब तुम्हारा एक बच्चा हो गया सोसाइटी कहेगी बेटा यही टाइम है दूसरा बच्चा करने का, दोनों इकट्ठे पल जाएंगे. लो जी दूसरा न्याणा हो गया. अब सोसाइटी कहेगी बेटा आप स्कूल ढूंढने शुरू कर दो. स्कूल ढूंढने शुरू कर दे, फिर कॉलेज, फिर बच्चा कॉलेज से निकला, फिर वही सर्कल वापस घूम गया, उसकी शादी. बेटा तुम 24 साल की होगी, मुझे 24 साल की हो गए.
So bad.
It is like that. अब शादी करवा लो, अब वो शादी करवा लेगा या करवा लेगी, अब उसके पीछे पड़ जाओगे बच्चे, बिकॉज तुम्हें तुम्हारे घर वालों ने बोला कि बच्चे. So जो तुम्हें सिखाया गया तुम आगे बोलोगे सॉरी मॉम डैड एंड अंकल आंटी, बट लाइक these are our views. So yeah, जब बच्चे करने होंगे हम करेंगे, ठीक है. फिलहाल ये तू ड्राइव.
अरे also very important thing that nobody talks about is जब financially stable होगी तो बच्चे करोगे ना. अब बच्चे कर लिए और पैसे हैं नहीं स्कूल डालने के लिए, तो एक दूसरे का गला ही काटेंगे.
हमने तो सारे पैसे गोवा ट्रिप पे लगा दिए. कहाँ से बच्चे करें, एक साल की स्कूल की फीस लाती है यार पैसे. So yeah, I mean do things that you want to do.
These things are to be planned.
Yeah.
It's not ki
first before even planning it you need to sit down and
have a conversation with your spouse.
First have a conversation with yourself. Okay. See how you feel. What do you want? And then have that conversation with your spouse.
Or your partner. You don't have to be married to have children.
यार एक समाज का सोसाइटी बहुत खतरा है, वो की बोलना है, बड़ा सोच समझ के बोलना पड़ता है. Yeah, you don't have to be married, guys. But yeah, so reach a consensus, and then again, let it be your decision, okay? And then if your decision is to have a kid or not have a kid, sit with your parents and make them explain कि ये हमने सोचा है, this is what we think is right, and like what are your views on this? Like again, you don't want to hurt them as well, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's not their fault that they're asking to have kids because they have been asked to have kids by their parents. So that is how they were raised. So nothing against. So yeah, जब होगा जब करना है आप decide करो और
आपका decision.
Yeah. And yeah, I think good talk.
Good talk.
With
It
my
was
co-host. It was fun.
really nice talking to you after a while. It was like very like I feel like I said this to Sid. I called him up and I told him, you know, how I have a rhythm when we podcast together versus when I have to do it alone. Like I feel like, you know, when my flow sort of like finishes, then he starts, and then when he finishes, I jump in. So it's like a very rhythmatic way of podcasting. Whereas when I have to do it alone, I'm like, where is it? Why do I have to do this alone? So yeah, I feel like it's a good thing to have. Marriage is a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to be married to podcast again.
And
But like,
if you
why not?
haven't yet, start a podcast with your spouse. It brings out so many things that you want to talk about. Brings out so many emotions. It's actually therapeutic.
It's very therapeutic.
And also, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Okay, if you're liking our content, make sure you subscribe. Like the button, कौन सा वाला जो भी button होता है. For the algorithm, you know this. The more you like, the more YouTube pushes our videos. The more people we can get to, and they might find value in our content. So this is us signing out. It is now time for Veera to buy me lunch from Tamil Thali. What? Tamil Table.
Tamil Table.
Tamil Table is apparently a very nice restaurant in Goa, so we're going there. So ciao ciao, and we shall meet you in our next episode. And have a great time, guys. Enjoy life, enjoy your married life. If you're not married, वो वाली भी life enjoy करो. तो नज़ारे लो, खिंच के रखो. See you.